Hi there, Danny Myers here, and I am excited to introduce to you the new Avigilon MultiSensor camera. Now, I've been in the security industry and specifically video surveillance for about 18 years now, and this is the most excited that I've ever been about a particular product launch. So stick around because we're going to be unboxing one of these cameras, so let's take a look at that and see this new H4 multi-sensor camera with analytics, and also what the variations that it has in terms of how it can be installed, whether it be wall mounted, pendant mounted, corner mounted, etc. So stick around. The purpose of this channel is to help you get the most out of your video surveillance system or your security camera system. Whether you're a business owner or you are a security director for a large company or institution, we want to share with you technologies that are real and working so that you may be able to put them to work in your business or institution. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard customers say, wow, I just purchased a camera system 4 years ago. I wish this technology was available then. Now, unfortunately, many times that they're saying that, the technology was available. They just didn't know about it. They didn't have somebody to tell them that this technology was available and that it was working. Things like proactive analytics, a system that can alert you or a monitoring center in the event of someone showing up on your property that shouldn't be there. It could be a situation where they actually receive a live talk down of a loudspeaker that's blaring in their ear.
You are trespassing. Leave immediately. The authorities have been notified.
They're telling them to get off the property because it detects a person. Now, I'm not talking about motion detection, or pixel motion. I'm talking about actually detecting people. And that's what analytics are. Now, this camera we're talking about today has analytics, and it has it on every single camera. We call it a multi-sensor. You have multiple cameras inside of one dome. And that's what we're going to take a look at today. So let's hop in. All right, here's the camera. This comes in the traditional Avigilon white box here with the serial number listed right here. Here's the part number. This one is the 24C H4A MH3 270. What that means is it's a 24 megapixel camera. There are 3 8 megapixel cameras on this in this camera. That's where you get your 24. H4 is the series of cameras, and the A stands for analytics. So H4A, then you have 3 MH multi-head. So there's 3 of those, and they will give you a 270-degree angle. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's open it up. So you have your traditional, materials that nobody reads, safety materials. We'll get to this here in a minute, what that is. We'll show you that. All right. So what we're looking at here, the way it's positioned right now, going back to the previous version of the multi-sensor cameras, you could move the cameras around. Now the other one, you were limited. This is a huge, huge improvement. This one, you can move this thing way around. The previous version, you had to stay within your little quadrant here. There was 4 quadrants, and you couldn't move the camera past that. This, if you just twist this little knob here on the side, that gives you your tilting. So this thing can literally go straight down. That's another thing that the previous version, the H3 multi-sensor, you were only able to go to about this far down. So you really couldn't get it all the way straight down. This, you can literally go straight down. So it gives you a multitude of different ways that you can position this camera. So being that this is the 270, okay, bear with me here, we're looking at this straight down. If you wanted to put this on the corner of a building, you'd be able to go 270 degrees around to give you full coverage. That makes these are 90-degree angle lenses. Okay, so that's how you get your 270. They also have a 180 version, which is more so you can line them up and you can put 3 of them together like this across one side. The fact that these things slide all around, I can't tell you how awesome that is. We were limited so much with those other cameras. You'd actually have to mount the camera, then remount it to try to turn. This, once you're mounted, you can just move these things around. There's this big long cord here. So walking through some of the logistics of this, Notice that there is a USB micro port. That is primarily used for if you wanted to plug in. There's a dongle you can plug in right here, and then now your phone becomes a monitor, so you can adjust these cameras. That's the main thing that gets used for. And then you have an SD slot here. You actually can have this thing to record to that SD card. In the settings of the camera itself, you can log in and say, hey, if this camera loses connection between the recorder and the camera, go ahead and start recording onto this as a backup. So it will record files. Now it's not as easy to use as the Avigilon client software, but it is basically, it's a backup. Once you get the camera around to where you want, you literally just push down on this little lever, and that locks it in. So now it's not going to move. And then over here, once you get this to exactly where you want it, you're going to want to also tighten it a little bit with a Phillips head. Flipping the camera over, show you the other side here, your RJ45 connector. This over here is if you're going to plug in any other wires. So let's talk about that. Now this camera is PoE plus, so you can just power it with literally one cable. You don't have to power it with any more cables, but if you needed more power, let's say you didn't have PoE plus, or the other version, if you're going to be using it could actually be PoE plus plus. There's a 4-head version. There's also a ring that can go on here for an infrared ring, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there's other reasons why you might need more power, and so that's what these other connectors here are for. So if we open up this bag, what you'll notice is you see that? It's kind of hard to see, but you have 2 large and then you have 6 small holes, and those all equate to these wires here. So within these wires you actually have power, you have audio in, you have audio out, you have your alarm input wires. I mean, so there's a number of things that could be done here. I'm going from memory. So anyway, that's what this little dongle here is for. And then it looks like this other one, I believe this is actually for the infrared ring. That's what I'm going to assume, because it has to get power, and that's what probably going to get its power from right here. We've actually not done the infrared ring yet. This camera is brand new. We do have an application next week that we're going to be ordering one of these with the infrared ring. All right, so that's what comes in the box. Let's take a look at some of these different mounting methods, because in typical Avigilon fashion, I mean, they want this thing to be very versatile. You can actually mount this thing straight to, I'm going to pop up a picture here of if you're mounting it straight to something outside, you have the base for this camera. It will allow you to do that. You also have what we're looking at here. This is the pendant mount. And so the way that these cameras work is that they basically literally snap into this. They have these screws right here, then that lock this into the base. So then now it's part of it this way. Or if you were using this with the surface mounted dome, you would put that, you just lock it right into that. Okay? So one of the things I want to point out about this that's really awesome is that it has this really nice cavity right here. So let's say you're putting this somewhere where you need to have an extender, or you need some extra room in here for the cable for whatever reason. This gives you this nice area to do that, and you've got to work your wires through there. Okay, so that's the pendant for this. Now, the way this actually could go from here, you could go up into a NPT mount. So if you're threading this onto, I believe it's a 1.5 inch. Okay, or you could be putting it onto this awesome wall mount. So this is the wall mount, and this is actually this wall mount came out when they came out with their H4 long range infrared PTZs. So that's what this is here. But this just really mounts on very easily. There's also cavity in here for your wires and whatever else, extenders, surge protectors, these different things you can be putting in there.
Space, a final frontier.
That's what it looks like when you remount this onto a wall. And then from here, that's going to go straight onto your wall, or this could go onto a corner mount. And if you're doing these with a 270 degree, you're gonna need the corner mount in order to get you that full coverage. Okay, now let's show you what the dome looks like for this. Alright, so here's the dome cover. It comes just like this. Now you see this black part right here? This is a standard dome cover. They also have this with infrared, and so the infrared lights are in here, and that's what gives you your 360 degree coverage for the infrared for this camera, or 270 or whatever you're setting it up. Something that's really cool I just realized as we were setting this camera up, you can set up that infrared to where it'll only light up where you want it to light up. So if you wanted this side and this side to be infrared, it'll do that. Okay, so let's take a look and see what this looks like on it. Of course, it comes with this plastic protection, here to keep the dome from getting scratched until you're ready to install it. So I'm actually going to leave that on there if you don't mind. So that's really how easy it snaps into that. Very, very easily. And notice, whenever you put that on there snugly, that this rubber gasket that they have around the camera, it really snugs up against that glass. Can you see that? What that does is it keeps any other light that may be coming into the dome or inside the dome from refracting off of this. The other thing is that will keep that camera still. Now I have seen the other camera, the H3, I've seen if it got some vibration that the camera actually moved down. What this does is I think that will prevent that from ever happening, because it's literally snug up against there. We're putting this in an application where there's going to be a lot of vibration, and I'm confident that's going to be just fine. It's like a little suction cup. But that's what the dome looks like together. Looks like a little flying saucer. I love this camera. Now, I mentioned this previously. Just wanted to point out that each one of these cameras, okay, you can run analytics on these cameras. So this camera comes in where these can be 3 megapixel, 5 megapixel, or 8 megapixel. So you can literally have 4 8 megapixel cameras. This could be a 32 megapixel camera with analytics on every camera. That's just unbelievable. It's amazing. That's why I'm so excited about this camera. There's a lot of applications where we wanted to use the H3 multisensor because it's a great cost savings as well, but they didn't have analytics, and so we had to do H4As. The other thing about this camera, if you think about it, is that from a cost savings, if you're going to do one camera with one mount, okay, the installation cost of that is going to be much lower than putting in 4 cameras, running 4 wires, 4 ports on a switch, 4 licenses on the software, whereas this, all that's done with one license, 1 wire, 1 switch port, 1 wall mount. So the installation, and you can see the installation is done very, very simply. By the way, a quick note about Avigilon. They were a Canadian company. They were purchased by Motorola. Many of the cameras that we purchase for our clients are actually made right here in the great state of Texas. This one is made in Canada. So I just want to point that out. This stuff is made extremely well. Well, I sure hope this video was helpful to you today. That is our goal here, to provide content that is useful to you, that can help you. So if you found it helpful, I just ask that you would hop on down there to the comment section and say what you liked about the video, especially click on the like button. And if you'd like to see more content like this, you can click the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. Now you're also going to see some of the links here on this. If you'd like to know more details about this multi-sensor camera, what we've actually done is we've applied this, we've installed this at multiple locations. So we're going to go out to at least one of those locations, maybe 2, and get you some up-close video and pictures so that you can see what it looks like in an actual application. Something else we'd like to do is we'll also provide you some real video from this. Not just how does it look on the outside, but what kind of video images can it capture. So we will also, another video you're going to find a link somewhere right up in here, either one of these two sides is going to show you some real video that we've captured from this amazing camera. So I'd like to sign off and wish you the very best. Have a blessed day from Lighthouse Video Surveillance. Take care.